Greetings, friends and ladies and gentlemen. As they say at the Ritz-Carlton, I've been told that they are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen and friends, and perhaps an occasional foe, because it's always good for me to have somebody who might say, "Hold on just a minute, Stan. Are you sure you got that right? I'm disagreeing with you." I got a disagreement note the other day. Just fine. It is from a friend, by the way, and it'll give us something to talk about. Inconvenient ideas. Microsoft has just announced that they're going to be laying off over 4,000 people. And the leader said, and there will be more to follow. The world is changing faster than you are. It really is. And that is an inconvenient idea. So today I'd like to see if we can perhaps figure out where some of this stuff is coming from and perhaps where we should be going as a result of it. That's the assignment for today. Let's see if we can pull that off on inconvenient ideas and sometimes an uncomfortable conversation. The program begins right now. Let me ask you a very obvious question. And however, you will all have the answer and it will be wrong. All right. Here, what is this? You have one. I have them all over the house, don't we? That's right. What is this? Well, you would say, well, Stan, that's a remote. That's a remote control. A remote control. Uh, yeah, that's what it's called. But it's more important than that. It's very significant. It really changed the entire world of radio and television because this is not just a remote control. Come on, camera, get it right. Okay, it's not just a remote control. It is a message selector. That's right. Let me tell you the story, and you have to be probably as old as I am in some respects, but not fully, to understand what I mean by that. Many, many years ago, uh, in a place that almost seems far, far away, uh, there was the land of media and television, radio and television in America. And it had been one of the leading countries in the terms of radio and television, since radio and television primarily came from American ingenuity. Marconi was of Italian extraction, Faraday and Tesla, but it was very much something that came about in America. That's the people who had the resources and the technology, and perhaps some people would say the courage to make it happen. Now, when I grew up, there were radio stations, and they were very significant. And every town had a small town radio station, and then many of the big cities had huge, what were called clear channel stations. And they were stations that the smaller stations were told to get off the air because what would happen is at nighttime, these big radio stations around the world. And right here in America, in Chicago and New York and Los Angeles, they would crank up their power to 50,000 watts. And because it was nighttime and because the other smaller stations were off the air, they could be heard all around the country. And that's where Wolfman Jack came from. And I remember staying up late at night and tuning my radio so that I could hear the radio stations, not just in my little town of Indiana, but I could hear radio stations from all over the world. Yeah, I could do that. Well, when it came time to television, There was also something that was very significant. There were basically three channels. Now there were some smaller independent channels, and there were, the uh, uh, original kind of a renegade little station that some people put together. But basically, all of the little radio stations were a part of three larger networks, and many of them, no, they're still around. There was the American Broadcasting Company, ABC, and then there was NBC, which was the National Broadcasting Company. And then there was CBS, which was the Columbia Broadcasting System. There was also a smaller channel. It was oftentimes called DuPont, and that had smaller, but it had significant people in its network. That was it. And here was their strategy. Their strategy was to have the best news people they could to really say. Now, remember, many times they didn't come on the air. They weren't on all day. Many of the TV stations to begin with actually began their programming at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they would oftentimes start with some small children's programs, like Howdy Doody and something like that. And their attempt was to try and see if they could keep people listening from 4 o'clock when they signed on to hopefully 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock until they signed off around midnight. And then there was simply what was called the test pattern, is they just had a nice sound and a nice red and white and blue kind of American flag, and it just kind of took up the space until they came back. Maybe in the morning, some of them began to do that, but oftentimes in the afternoon. Yeah, that's what it was. Well, here was what they attempted to do. What they tried to do is say, okay, we get the kids. That's important. And there's where that happened. Then we get the news. And here's the deal. If we can get them to listen to our 6 o'clock or 6:30 news, guess what? We could probably get them to listen the entire evening, because they'd hear the news and then it would follow with perhaps a comedy story or a comedy situation, 7:30. And the idea was that hopefully the people would just sit there and watch whatever program came next on the channel. And it worked pretty well. Uh-oh. You see, because in those days, if you wanted to change the channel, what did you have to do? Or if you wanted to change the station on the radio, you wanted to change the radio station, what would you have to do? Well, you'd have to get up out of your chair and you'd have to go and you'd turn a knob and see, oh, well, is that the one I want? Oh, no. Is that the one I want? Well, nothing like. Every time you were unhappy, you had to actually get up and push a button, usually not even a button. You had to turn a knob and change the channel. Then this little instrument came along. And now all you have to do is click and switch. Click and switch. Click and switch changed the world. It did. Because now people could really be in control of the kind of media or video or radio content they could listen to. And then, of course, that began to expand. Now, I oftentimes do this to point out is once you've made the decision to actually, do the work, of, hey, trying to attract an audience, there's a variety of different things that can happen. You have to be really good. I've oftentimes pointed this out, particularly when I've dealt with pastors or ministers or people of a religious persuasion um, who are trying to get on the radio or television. And I say to them, by the way, have you ever, while you are doing a sermon or a lecture or presentation, have you ever had anybody just stand up and say, this is stupid, I don't like this, I'm leaving, and they just get up and walk out? Well, that wouldn't happen very often. Now, today it might happen more often because people are conditioned that if I don't like this, I leave. I click and switch. I leave. I remember a number of years ago that one of my friends was helping me become a speaker for many of the people in the insurance industry. And she had made it possible for me to actually give a presentation to a major group. And she said, Stan, by recommending you, I've put a little bit of my reputation at stake. And I have significant reputation in this industry. And so you better be good. And she said, remember, this isn't church, Stan. You aren't just a missionary. You're in front of insurance and investment people. And they're not going to let you waste their time. If your talk isn't any good, they're just going to stand up and they're just going to walk out right on you and draw attention to the fact that you weren't good enough for them to stay there. That's the world we now live in. People can choose, they can click and switch. And that huge amount of choices that came from this little device that kind of snuck in has changed our world. We are now overloaded with choices, and we can quickly and quickly, quickly and quickly, click and switch. Now, I'm going to let the story end right there. For this reason, that's a reality that you and your business and your organization, whatever organization, whatever work you're doing, technology is changing the world so fast. You know, years ago, I bought this very expensive little transistor radio. It cost me a lot of money because it was a German Grundig. Wow. I could listen to stations all over the world. It's an antique. Now, got a picture of my grandchild there. All right. Now, this just changed everything. And everybody has one. In fact, there are more of these than there are of people in many parts of the world. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that things are changing so quickly that we have to be ready to be people who can create value on our own, despite or perhaps because we understand the technology and how it works. Now, here's the good thing. I understand how that works. So if you want to make it in the world of marketing and radio and television, I can help you deal with the click and switch people. I can help you deal with the entertainment factor that people are expecting. I can help you keep people engaged in the stories that you want to tell and to make sure that they particularly want to hear. The world is changing. Many of you know that we work in terms of helping entrepreneurs, both the Jesus Entrepreneur Program and the Do It Right program, which is more of a business marketing based program for entrepreneurs and creatives. But the point is, as one man said just recently, he said, things are changing so fast that when a person goes to school now, First of all, they should probably learn how to fix something. Fix something that gets broken. You need a fix-it class. Teach you how to be a fixer. Secondly, we need you to learn how to be a maker. How can you make things? Learn to be a maker and a creator. Thirdly, learn how to be self-employed and to be an entrepreneur. Don't look for the career anymore. Your career is one of those things that the click and switch world has put to rest. And now you are in a place where you continually have to change who you are. No, change what you do. Perhaps change how you behave. Maybe modify in some ways how you present yourself. But in effect, understand that you're going to need some help because the world is changing faster than you are. And we're here to help you deal with the inconvenient ideas. We may have some uncomfortable conversations, but what we're very good at, and I can say that, we're very good at helping you find a way to make your mark in the marketplace today. That's what we do, and I think we do it well. So please reach out to me, Stan at stanhustad.com. That's one, but I prefer this one, Stan at witradio.net. Stan at witradio.net. Because keep in mind, everything today depends on electronic communication. Everything in your life is now radio. And you have to know what it takes to deal with all of the radio technology and techniques and changes out there. I've been doing this for almost a half a century, so I think I can do it well. All the best and blessings to you. And let's see how we can make sure that we and our family and our companies survive and thrive and maybe even flourish in the changing world that we are now in. All the best and blessings, because that's also something we need. Blessings. Blessings to you. Till next time, for Inconvenient Ideas and a variety of other things, I'm Stan Hustad. Bye for now.